Hi everyone. Today I'm going to talk about how I apply cologne. Now before we get into it, please note that this is based on my own skin chemistry and your results may vary. And this video is going to be based on applying cologne directly to the skin rather than using some sort of lotion or Vaseline to help it last longer. Let's get into it. There are 5 concentrations of fragrance. From weakest to strongest, they're eau fraîche, eau de cologne, eau de toilette, eau de parfum, and parfum, sometimes called extrait de parfum, or perfume extract. Now, while this is a good general guide of how a fragrance will perform, there's actually a pretty wide range of performances in each individual category of concentration. I'll give a few examples of these later in the video. But for now, let's talk about pulse points. A pulse point is anywhere that you can feel your pulse. The importance of applying a fragrance to a pulse point is these are going to be warmer parts of the body. The warmer the part of the body that you apply the fragrance to, the better it'll perform. It's similar to a fragrance warmer or a candle. Some common pulse points to apply a fragrance to are the jugulars, the back of the neck, behind the ears, the wrists, the insides of the elbows, the chest, and the ankles. Now, while I mentioned 5 concentrations of fragrance, the 3 most common are eau de toilette, eau de parfum, and parfum. And now, without further ado, let's talk about a few fragrances and how I would recommend they be sprayed. First up, we have eau de toilette. Here we have Dolce & Gabbana The One and Lapidus Pour Homme. Now, when I talk about longevity and projection, I'm talking about 2 sprays on the neck, particularly the jugulars. Dolce & Gabbana The One has intimate to moderate projection and lasts for about 5 hours, whereas Lapidus Pour Homme has strong projection and lasts for about 12 hours. Now I should give a disclaimer, this is one heck of an outlier in terms of eau de toilettes. I have some eau de toilettes that last for about 7 hours, and a few that even last for about 8 or 9 hours, but this one just blows them out of the water. While these are both eau de toilettes, I'd recommend about 5 sprays of this one. 1 on each jugular, 1 on each wrist, and 1 on the back of the neck. But you can choose whatever pulse points you want, that's just my recommendation. Whereas for Lapidus Pour Homme, I just recommend 2 sprays of this one. Another thing to keep in mind when figuring out how much of a fragrance to wear is the scent profile. Dolce & Gabbana The One is a very gentle and smooth and warm scent profile, whereas Lapidus Pour Homme is very strong. I've heard this one be compared to radioactive honey, and honestly, I can see it. Up next, we have eau de parfum. Now, while these are both eau de parfums, they perform very differently from each other. Gucci Guilty Eau de Parfum has moderate projection and lasts for about 7 hours, whereas Tabac Rose by BDK Parfum lasts for about 14 hours and has strong projection. Now, while Tabac Rose does have much stronger performance, it is a more gentle scent profile than Gucci Guilty Eau de Parfum. I'd recommend 3 sprays, maybe 4 max, of Gucci Guilty Eau de Parfum, and I'd recommend 2 sprays of Tabac Rose. And last but not least, we have Parfum. Now these parfums are very different from each other. If you've smelled both of these, you know what I'm talking about. Here we have Acqua di Gio Parfum by Armani and Black Afgano by Nasamato. Acqua di Gio Parfum has moderate projection and lasts for about 9 hours, whereas Black Afgano by Nasamato has very strong projection and lasts for about 24 hours. Now, while Acqua di Gio Parfum does have a rather mellow scent profile, it does have some character to it as well. And while Black Afgano by Nasamato does have very strong performance, it has a very round, warm scent profile. I'd recommend 3 sprays of Acqua di Gio Parfum, whereas I'd recommend 1 spray or 2 of Black Afgano by Nasamato. Something to keep in mind about each fragrance is that their atomizers are going to be different from each other and disperse a different amount of liquid. But in general, I recommend holding a fragrance about 3 to 6 inches away from wherever you want to spray. And if you do spray on your wrists, do not rub them together. Just let the fragrance sit and absorb into your skin and do its thing. And that concludes my guide on how to apply cologne. Thank you for watching.